Good afternoon, this is William, and welcome to the latest installment of I Was a Teenage Daydreamer, where I discuss mostly music, some literature, some film, and some random things that I enjoy, and hopefully you do as well. Today is something that came to me as I was crate digging through my recently rescued crates of CDs that have been in storage for several years. And one of the smaller crates had a lot of CD singles. And CD singles are definitely a thing of the past. At least I have not seen a new one in quite some time. But singles at one point were, of course, a big part of music. And up until the mid 60s ish, you could make an entire career on just releasing singles and no real albums. Albums as we know them now, and we like them from start to finish. And the concept of the album did not come around until, again, sometime in the 60s. So, especially in the UK, singles were a big part of the music scene. Standalone singles that weren't associated with an album, and a lot of really, really great songs. And even into the 2000s, singles as part of an album or even a standalone were part of musical culture. And I very much remember getting the latest single from so-and-so, especially if it had some B-sides that weren't on anything else. And it was fun. It was fun hunting them down. It was fun collecting them. And now years later, trying to store all these singles and all these CDs is a bit of a chore. And if you want access to them, again, talking about streaming platforms and if they have all the material from a certain artist, some artists are really good about having the singles with their B-sides on there, like The Cult has their early singles from the 80s with the B-sides on there, and that's really awesome. But a lot of artists don't. They just have their main albums, and that's it. And then, of course, you've got people that have collected their singles with the B-sides, etc., etc., etc. So I just pulled a handful of CD singles out, and these are in no particular order or anything. Just going to run through them very quickly. And maybe you remember picking up some of these at some point. But the first one is Smashing Pumpkins' Today. And the glare is pretty rotten at the moment. So my friend Kevin, this was his favorite band. We were in high school and college. And I remember going to Vinyl Fever in Tallahassee, Florida in 1993, and he picked up Cherub Rock, the first single from Siamese Dream. And we drove around Tallahassee the rest of the day listening to those three songs, Cherub Rock, and the B-sides were Pissant and French Movie Theme. And those are my two favorite Smashing Pumpkins B-sides. And then when Today came out, I bought this one. And this has my other two favorite Smashing Pumpkins B-sides, Hello Kitty Cat and Obscured. And both of those are now available in the remastered double disc editions and maybe on some sort of singles collection or something like that. But of course, Today is a great single, and these are both great, great, great B-sides. Next, we've got The Strokes and Hard to Explain, which was the big hit, I suppose, the one that got everyone's attention when The Strokes came out in 2001, and they were the darlings for a very, very long time. I saw them when they came through Nashville. It was a fun show. And, I like The Strokes. Is This It is a really, really great album, very much of its time and also very timeless. And the nice thing about this single is that it has New York City Cops as the B-side, and it was removed from the album at the last minute because of the 9/11 attacks. So again, some historical context, what's going on in the musical culture and the world out there, trying to be a little bit sensitive. But a great song, both the A-side and the B-side, so fun to have. Then a couple of New Order singles, and I've got lots of New Order singles. I've got a lot back there on my vinyl on 12-inch. A couple of my favorite ones here. Well, this is my favorite one, World, The Price of Love, from their 1993 album, Republic. This is the second track and the second single. And the Perfecto mix on here, which is about 7 minutes long, is my all-time favorite remix of any song at any time by New Order or any other band. I do like a lot of dancey stuff, and New Order is the reason why I like dancey stuff. And this is a great, great song in and of itself with a cool video, but that B-side, or that remix rather, the Perfecto mix, is fantastic. And then this is one that came out in 97. It's 586, which is a song which was not a single from their second album, Power, Corruption, and Lies. And, you know, the thing about dancey type bands is you can keep remixing stuff forever. There's a 95 edition of Blue Monday that's got some remixes, but this is just one 22-minute track that trances 586 into this big, long, not really droney, but definitely trancy, endless groove. No vocals, but you can definitely hear the beat and the melody, the keyboard melodies in the background. It's a fun listen. I honestly have probably only listened to this like 5 times ever, and one time was today. So now we're going to totally change gears with old 97s from Texas. This was their breakthrough single 19 from their fourth album, Fight Songs. Saw them opening for Chris Isaak in 2001. Not 2001, can't remember, because I saw Chris Isaak 2 years in a row. This is the second time, had no idea who these guys were. Came out, blew everybody away. Stumbled across this single years after the fact, got it for $1.99 somewhere. But the fun thing about this one is the B-side, The Villain, which I believe Rhett Miller redid maybe on a solo album, or maybe they did it again. But it's got this pull-out deal, which is kind of a pain. You know, you also had these slip cases as well. So, you know, different packaging and stuff. So always fun to have a track that's not on anything else. And then a couple of Mojave 3 singles here. Mojave 3, of course, being the band that Neil Halstead and Rachel Goswell from Slowdive started when Slowdive ended in the mid-90s. And these 2 singles are from their second album, which I didn't care for much when it came out. Haven't listened to it in a while. But I bought these 2 singles, and they've got great, great B-sides on there. Listened to them today, and I was like, wow, man, such great stuff. It's been a while since I've visited Mojave 3, even though Neil Halstead is my favorite songwriter from my generation, you know, folks in their late 40s to mid 50s. And so love Neil Halstead stuff as Slowdive, Mojave 3 solo, and his side project, Black Hearted Brother, which I will talk about at some point in the future. Another band that was really, really great with their singles, Scottish band, Bell and Sebastian, have tons and tons of theirs. I still remember going to Borders in Brentwood, Nashville, and picking up the latest Bell and Sebastian, finding a new one, whatever. Always had interesting, fun covers, and then some good B-sides here on this one. Judy is a Dick Slap, which just is a hilarious name. It's an instrumental. It's a lot of fun. Very 60s retro, as is Legal Man, very 60s retro song. And Winter Wooski, which I believe is sang by, not by Stuart Murdoch, but by Stevie Jackson, the guitarist. Really, really wonderful little mellow song. Of course, a lot of their singles, or all their singles, are collected on various singles collections. The first one was called Push Barman to Open Old Wounds, and that collects all the Jeepster stuff. And then when they got on Matador Records. So, again, kind of a cheat to the fans who have gone out and done all the work and bought everything, but also nice to have them in one collection. Anyway, that's an argument for another day. And then The Cure, Friday I'm in Love, from their album Wish. The song that polarized the fans yet again. 30 plus years after the fact, nobody cares. All the Cure fans like this song. But 2 really great B-sides on here. And Wish is Okay album for me, but I love, love, love the B-sides, and two really great ones on here are Halo and Scared as You. Fantastic stuff. And I got this at the CD Warehouse for $4.99. I think the CD Warehouse was in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is a college town about half an hour east of Nashville. And then speaking of The Cure and singles, I believe these were the last CD singles I ever bought, but when their album 413 Dream came out, they preceded it with four singles that each had unique B-sides. And me being the biggest Cure fan in my group of friends, I was the one that went out and bought them all. And then I would pull them to my computer and email the MP3s, don't tell anybody, to everyone. And then they came out with this, which was a charity only disc. Everything went to, I can't remember which charity, but it had remixes of the singles. So that was a lot of fun. And I think this is 2008. I think this was the last CD single that I bought when it came out. And maybe these were the last ones I've ever bought because, again, I don't pick up CD singles anymore. And then this was also a chance for me to pick up something that I normally wouldn't listen to, but there's a song on the radio that I like. Mark Anthony, sorry, not Roman. You Sang to Me. I really like this song a lot for whatever reason. And of course, I'm not going to buy the album, but I did buy the CD single, and it's got also the Spanglish version on here. Haven't listened to this in years, but nice song. And then Dubstar from the UK, band that I really, really loved. And this is technically an EP, but I'll call it a single. And I remember buying it and didn't think I'd listen to it very often. But when I put it back on today, I realized I knew all these songs. And what's nice about this one is two of the B-sides. One has Gary Newman, and the other one has Ian Brody from the Lightning Seeds. And these are really nice little songs. And let's see, Superchunk, the first part. So this was the first single from their album Foolish. I was a huge Superchunk fan in early college. First show I ever saw in Nashville when I went to college in September of 1992. And then saw them again in May of 1993, touring On the Mouth. On the Mouth was one of the albums of 1993 for me. I loved it. I loved the singles and the B-sides, which were all collected on, I can't remember what the name of that compilation is, maybe Cup of Sand. And then they had another standalone single called Who Needs Light, Ribbon, which I have on 7-inch, and that's another post I'm going to do. And then their much anticipated fourth album was coming out, Foolish. Picked up this single, the first part, loved the first part, loved the two B-sides, Connecticut and the song Foolish. Both interesting, fun songs. Foolish is very dirty and distorted and everything. And then bought the album and absolutely hated the album. And I still can't get into it to this day, but I still love the single. I still bought singles after this, like Hyper Enough and Hello Hawk and a couple of more recent ones. But anyway, my relationship with Superchunk is rocky, but when I love them hard. Psychedelic Furs, what is this? Until She Comes, which is a fantastic song off their last album before their breakup and Love Spit Love and all that stuff. And there's a song on here called Make It Mine that's not on anything else that I'm aware of. I don't think it has a presence on any kind of streaming media. It's a great, great song. It's a reason to hold on to this. Plus, it also has Sometimes from the album and a single mix of Until She Comes, which I could take or leave. But those three songs are great, great, great. And then Billy Bragg, You Woke Up My Neighborhood, from his Don't Try This at Home album from 1991, which probably his biggest album, maybe the one with the most exposure on it. This has Michael Stipe and Peter Buck from REM on it, and then it's got four really nice B-sides that aren't on the album. Ontario, Quebec and Me, Bread and Circuses, which is really nice, Heart Like a Wheel, and 7 and 7 Is. which is a cover by Burt Bacharach that Love did an awesome version of. Anyway, these are all also available on some collection or other, but cool to have this. And no, I don't know where I bought that. And then the one that, man, what a great one. Ride's Vapor Trail, that has 3 B-sides on it: Unfamiliar, Sinnin', and Beneath. These songs are as strong as anything on the album Nowhere. Um, and Unfamiliar is probably the best song from the whole lot when it comes to the Nowhere sessions and stuff like that. Anyway, so that's it. Just a bunch of singles that I pulled out of a crate this morning. Thought I'd share them with you. So if there's any singles that you've run across lately, or ones you remember getting, or stories you've got connected with buying a CD single, let me know down in the comments. Hit like and subscribe if you're so inclined, but most importantly, keep doing what you love. Thanks.